Tying yourself in knots with your cable? Is your line forever getting in a twist? Maybe it's time to replace this with this. The GE-CT 18 Li-Solo Cordless Strimmer from Einhell. Let's take a closer look. Opening up the box, we find two main items enclosed. The body with a telescopic handle and strimming head, together with a safety shield. As it was a bare unit, it didn't come with a battery or charger, but I already have those from previous Einhell purchases. As I'm attached to my toes and would like it to stay that way, let's get that shield fitted straight away. With the shield's flower guard wire pulled out to its furthest extent, slip it over the strimmer wheel and then slide it into position, firmly pressing it home with a loud click indicating it's safely locked on. Of course, you won't be anywhere near as ham-fisted as I was when I filmed this. It's actually much simpler than I've managed to make it look. The flower guard can be left extended if you want to avoid carnage in the border, otherwise you can retract it and scythe away. Before we look at the strimmer in any more detail, here's a quick run through of the key features as highlighted by Einhell. We'll see how well they stack up in practice. If you want to find out more, further details and full technical specs can be found at the link shown. Back to our review. There are 4 main adjustments you can make to ensure stress-free strimming and avoid having to lie down in a darkened room afterwards. The first is length of the telescopic pole, which can be extended or compressed to suit your height, stature and personal preference. Once you've adjusted the length, you can lock it into position by tightening up the collar. The next adjustment is the position of the strimming head, which can be rotated back and forth depending on whether you're cutting down some recalcitrant weeds or getting those lawn edges nice and sharp. To rotate the head, pull it forward, twist it 90 degrees and release it. To return it to the original position, pull it forward, twist it back and release again. The tilt angle of the head can be further adjusted by pressing in the large round black button and moving it to the optimum position for the cut that you're planning to do. The final adjustment is to the handle, where, after releasing the locking clip, we can adjust the angle to the most comfortable position. Don't forget to push that clip back in, otherwise your petunias may never forgive you. As a time-served strimmer, having used around half a dozen different models over the years, I've suffered the back, shoulder and neck pain that comes with using strimmers with limited, or even worse, no adjustment capability. With the exception of the handle, whose locking clip I found very stiff, all the adjustments were straightforward and easy to make. In particular, switching back and forth between strimming and edging was really easy, but more of that later. The handle has a small storage compartment, which you can see I found a bit difficult to open, in which you can store your spare cutting blades. It looked like around 20 in total were supplied, so certainly enough to get you going. Attaching this is straightforward. Just slide it over the screw head and then push it forward until it clicks into position. I did find this required quite a bit of force, so you may need to use both hands like me. My existing strimmer is a Bosch Easy Grass Cut 26, which does use the line and spool approach. The biggest gripe I have with that is the line either jamming or snapping frequently. It's such that I'm rarely able to get through a strimming session without multiple line breaks or jams. I guess it could just be there's a problem with my strimmer, but it's only a couple of years old, so my suspicion is that the design just isn't reliable enough. So this was one of the reasons why I thought I'd give this Einhell strimmer a go. We'll have to see how well the blades cut and how long they last before they need changing. The other reason for choosing this strimmer was the other bugbear with my Bosch, its mains cord. Always getting tangled up, always getting in the way. So I thought, having already invested in an Einhell cordless lawnmower, I'd give a cordless strimmer a go. It's got to be better, surely. Buying a bare unit, of course, means you can make use of any existing 18-volt Einhell power exchange batteries, such as the 2.5 ampere-hour version I've got here. These batteries are available in a range of capacities, but unless you really need to, I'd probably avoid using a very high capacity version due to the additional weight it would add. It's a simple matter to plug them in. Just line them up and push them firmly home. Taking a closer look at the handle, we find a nice, large, easy to operate trigger. Before we can depress it fully, however, we need to move the safety catch forward with our thumb as shown. While we're in close-up, let's have a look at my Formula 1 style battery exchange. Well, you can only dream. To take out. Now the battery is in, and keeping with the racing theme, let's rev our engine. The first thing to notice is that it feels pretty smooth and also pretty quiet. Well, I think we've said all there is to say. Let's take it outside and see how well it works. I just happen to have a handy Einhell leaf blower to blast away all those grass cuttings. Take a look at this video for an in-depth review if you're in the market for a lightweight, easy to use blower. I'll grant you, not perfect by any means, but definitely looking a bit tidier. Mind you, that edging along the side of the greenhouse would do any dog's hind leg proud. I can't blame the strimmer for that though, it's solely down to the operator. So, first impressions. Yes, pretty good. I probably haven't got it adjusted perfectly as yet, but it's certainly very easy to do that, so I don't anticipate any issues there. I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised at how quiet it seemed compared to the Bosch, although at 94 dB it is only 1 dB less. Strange how the ears can play tricks. The Bosch weighs in at 3.2 kilos, whereas the Einhell Burr unit is a paltry 1.8 kilos. Even after adding 0.5 kilos for the 2.5 hour battery, you're still almost a kilo lighter with the Einhell, so that's got to prove less tiring. I managed to go through almost 2 blades in a relatively short session, although one of those you could almost certainly blame on newbie driver error. Replacement blades seem to be priced in the region of £6 to £9 for a pack of 20, depending where you buy them, so not much more than the cost of a replacement spool of line. We'll see how many blades I get through this season, but until then I'd have to say the jury's still out on which is the most cost effective. What I can say is that swapping a blade is much easier than the faff of rethreading a spool. However, the main plus point for me is that I got the work done in probably a third to a half of the usual time. No stopping to untangle a power cord or move it out of the way of the strim head. And when I did need to replace a blade, it was only 20 to 30 seconds, and then I was back up and running again. How does it compare to other brands? Well, I haven't looked at others in any detail. Sticking with the power exchange battery format just made sense, and when you add to that a pretty reasonable price, I paid $49.99 from ToolStation in March 2023, it was an easy decision. If you've got a very large garden, then there may well be better options available, whether it's an Einhell or other brand. But if you're looking for a lightweight, easy to use strimmer for a small to medium sized garden, then I think this hits the mark. A couple of final thoughts, having used it some more since I filmed this video. I've noticed there's a bit of vibration transmitted to your hand, which gets quite noticeable if you're using it for an extended period of time. I've also gone through half a dozen blades pretty quickly, although I was clearing weeds from a driveway, so maybe that's to be expected. All in all then, I'll give this a handyman at home rating of 7 out of 10. Well, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you again on the next one.